So as you have seen, I have been playing Dragon Quest VII in preparation for the remake Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, because I want to destroy that stupid remake and I want to do it with facts. So as I have been playing Dragon Quest VII on the PS1, I have remembered that that piece of shit game, Dragon Quest XI, exists. And I am going to be honest with you, I hate that piece of shit game. It's the worst Dragon Quest game. It's fucking trash. I have only played Dragon Quest VI, VII, VIII, IX and 11. So 5 Dragon Quest games I have played. The reason I haven't played 1 through 5 is because, in my opinion, they are very simplistic. Maybe 5 isn't, maybe not, but I do believe that 1 through 5, they don't have the customization that I enjoy in Dragon Quest 6 through 11. So very simplistic for me. I am not really interested in those games. But to me, Dragon Quest 11 is the worst Dragon Quest created. I probably can boot any of the Dragon Quest from 1 to 5 and I'm going to enjoy it, because it's just the same Dragon Quest, just with a bit less customization, but it's going to be Dragon Quest. It's going to feel good. But if I boot Dragon Quest 11, I am going to feel really angry and really mad at that piece of shit game. And there are only 6 reasons, and I'm going to explain to you on those 6 reasons why Dragon Quest XI is the worst Dragon Quest game ever created. The number 1 reason is because the game is a piece of shit RNG fest. The bosses of that fucking game are a piece of shit garbage, abusive, cheap, artificial difficulty design. Why? Because they rely on complete RNG bullshit. The combat when you're facing a boss, and maybe some of the normal enemies follow the same pattern, but with bosses, certain bosses, they start having these stupid random CCs, these stupid random status effects that they inflict into your party, and they are such a piece of shit garbage design. Tons of fucking status effects. You can get your entire party completely disabled by random status effects, and I am talking about bosses that inflict multiple status effects. It's not just one status effect, it's multiple status effects that can land onto your party, and they can completely disable your entire party. It's cheap, it's disgusting, it's fucking garbage. It got to a point that when I was facing a stupid boss, I felt like I was playing a fucking casino, a slot machine, instead of a boss fight. It felt garbage. It's an absolute travesty. It's the worst fucking Dragon Quest game ever. Just for that reason alone. RNG fest, cheap artificial difficulty garbage. I detest that piece of shit, and I have played 5 Dragon Quest games, mainline Dragon Quest games, and in no other Dragon Quest the RNG bullshit is like this. I am going through Dragon Quest VII right now, and I haven't seen a single instance of abusive, cheap artificial difficulty RNG on any boss, and I don't remember on any of the other Dragon Quest games I have played any of that shit. Only on Dragon Quest XI. Piece of shit design. Now pair that with point number 2. The fucking game is completely imbalanced. The difficulty of Dragon Quest XI is a piece of shit. It's another fucking travesty. The reason why is because the game was released with baby mode difficulty essentially. The normal mode, the default difficulty of the game was super easy. So people complained about it, and they added a draconian trial, Dragovian, whatever the fuck, a trial that you can activate at the beginning of the game, and you can make the bosses and the general encounters more difficult. So it went from a baby mode to cheap artificial difficulty. So there was not in between, not a good difficulty in between those modes. No, it was either baby mode or cheap artificial difficulty, because if you go to the hard mode like I did, then the RNG, like I described in my first point, becomes a fucking serious issue with the game. If you go baby mode, maybe it's not that hard, maybe it's not the RNG, it doesn't affect you that much, but if you go to the hard mode with hard monsters, then you are going to suffer. The game is going to make you want to delete yourself essentially, because it's a piece of shit. So the difficulty was trash in that game, completely imbalanced. Then another point, the third point, is that the game is an inferior version of Dragon Quest VIII. It's inferior in every aspect to Dragon Quest VIII. People that like Dragon Quest XI talk about it as if it's somehow the second coming of Dragon Quest VIII, and it's not. It's an absolute travesty to even say that. In Dragon Quest XI, you have less options to build your characters. Your characters are more simplistic than in Dragon Quest VIII. I'm just going to give you a quick example with the hero. In Dragon Quest XI, you have great swords, sword mastery, and luminary. Those are your stupid skill trees. That's it. Only 4. And if you go and check the skill tree of the hero in Dragon Quest VIII, you have swords, spears, boomerang, fisticuffs, courage. So you have one more skill tree. So essentially in Dragon Quest XI you have less customization options, and some of those are kind of redundant, like swords and great swords. It could be this exact same tree, but they divided into 2 because they were lazy. Instead of making another weapon for the hero, they just give you swords and great swords. Just fucking boring. Never mind that in Dragon Quest VIII you can use fisticuffs, swords, spears and boomerangs, but on Dragon Quest XI you only get swords and great swords, and that's it. The point number 4 on why Dragon Quest XI is a piece of shit game and is the worst Dragon Quest game ever created is the world is a piece of shit. There is no world in Dragon Quest XI. In Dragon Quest XI, the game is super fucking linear, and not only that, the areas of the game feel like levels. They don't feel like an actual living, breathing world. They don't. Compared to Dragon Quest VIII, which was the first Dragon Quest that was made fully 3D in third person, and it's a joke. Dragon Quest XI, the world in Dragon Quest XI is non-existent. It's just fucking zones that are completely separated from one another. The world feels completely disjointed. It feels cheap. It feels like you are exploring a level instead of a world. And on top of that, in Dragon Quest XI, whenever you sail your ship, you can only disembark on predetermined spaces. Same when you are flying. In Dragon Quest XI, you can also fly, but what happens is that you cannot land on whatever spot you want, like in Dragon Quest VIII. No, you have to land on specific spots. That makes the whole map feel even more cheap. So in general, the world of Dragon Quest XI is non-existent. It feels like they are levels, like they are separate zones. The world feels completely disjointed. You don't feel like you're exploring a world. You are only feeling like you're exploring a level on a platformer or some shit like that. Doesn't feel like a world. Compared to Dragon Quest VIII, Dragon Quest VIII is like Ocarina of Time of Zelda. It's that special because whenever you play Dragon Quest, the previous Dragon Quest games from 1 to 7, when you imagined a Dragon Quest game that was fully 3D on third person mode, you basically envisioned Dragon Quest VIII. And when Dragon Quest VIII launched, it was basically what the Dragon Quest audience always wanted. It felt exactly as you would have imagined a fully 3D Dragon Quest will be. So that's why the world of Dragon Quest XI is a fucking downgrade of Dragon Quest VIII, which is stupid. How is it possible that with more technology and more advancement in the industry, we got an inferior version of Dragon Quest VIII? The point number 5 in why Dragon Quest XI is a piece of shit game is because the music is fucking trash. There is not a lot to say about it, just inferior soundtrack. Compared to previous Dragon Quest games, the soundtrack of Dragon Quest XI is a fucking joke. There is a reason why in the quote-unquote definitive edition they allow you to change the music, because nobody wants to listen to that stupid garbage soundtrack. And the final point number 6 on why Dragon Quest XI is a piece of shit, is because the story is just trash. And it's not like Dragon Quest games are known for having very good stories or very complex stories, even though Dragon Quest VII does have a very decent story in my opinion, and that is why it's my favorite Dragon Quest game, because it has the gameplay, has the story, has the music, has the complexity. So in my opinion, Dragon Quest VII is the best Dragon Quest game ever created. Now Dragon Quest VIII also is a great game. It's the best 3D Dragon Quest that has ever released. But Dragon Quest XI, the story of Dragon Quest XI is a piece of shit. It's like a story for toddlers, a story for children. It's mediocre. It's boring to tears. It's an absolute fucking joke. So people that praise Dragon Quest XI are essentially retarded fanatics, as I always have exposed. Dragon Quest XI is essentially a downgrade from Dragon Quest VIII. That is what Dragon Quest XI is. It's an inferior version of a game that we already had on the PS2. The developers of Dragon Quest XI should be ashamed of themselves for pushing out that absolute travesty. And the people that like Dragon Quest XI and that think or say that Dragon Quest XI is the best Dragon Quest game, they are fucking dumb as fuck. They are retards. It's the typical fanatic behavior that they only like the most recent thing. The most recent thing is always the best thing for these stupid brain-dead fanatics. And when Dragon Quest XII comes out and it turns out that it's a fucking date simulator or some shit like that, they are going to praise Dragon Quest XII for being a fucking racing game and say this is the best Dragon Quest game ever, just because that is how Fanatics operate. And you also have to remind that Dragon Quest XI was downgraded on PC because they made the whole definitive edition garbage on the Switch, and the Switch is a shit console, so they had to downgrade the entire graphics of the game. And now when they ported the stupid definitive edition, instead of doing the pro consumer move and make it as a DLC for the already existing game, no, they made you buy the game twice. And not only that, you also had to accept the game having worse graphics than the one that you already had. And all of this happens because of Fanatics, because of the fucking pieces of shit that are mad listening to this video. You are scum and I fucking hate you, piece of shit. Because fucking fanatics like you should be in a mental institution. But companies like you because you are fucking tools for them. You are tools. You have no fucking brain, you are NPCs. You have no sense of critical thinking. So there you go. This is why Dragon Quest XI is the worst Dragon Quest game that has been created. It's a piece of shit game.